What to expect in prison on your first night of arrival. Now, some of my new subscribers who are new to the channel have been saying, can you do a video please on what to expect in your first 24 hours, or what happens inside a prison in the first 24 hours. Now, I have done a video on this previously, maybe it's a year or two back, but the new subscribers obviously haven't seen that video, and they said, can you please do a video on what actually happens on your first night? Can you put to bed the rumours, shall we say, or the rumours that go around about what happens in prison? So, what to expect when you first arrive in prison? When you've been either found guilty and you get remanded from the courts, or whether you get sentenced, you're up for sentencing, you get sentenced by the judge and you get sent to prison, or the magistrate, because you can't go to prison from a magistrate's court as well. Even though I think it's only 12 months maximum they can give you, and obviously the judges can give you anything up to life without parole. So, your first 24 hours, so when you come from the courts, you step off the paddy wagon, that's what we call it. That is the prison van, the transportation van that takes you from the courts straight into the prison. So you get to the prison gates, the staff on the paddy wagon, radios, either radio or sometimes they get off the van and go and inform the gate staff that there's new arrivals coming in. So then the van drives through the gates. The gate is like an electronic gate that opens up. You go through, and for me it was into HMP Castington, but more so in the adult prisons when I went into HMP Durham. You go through the gates, come to reception, you get off the van, you look up at your new house, your new prison, and you're thinking, shit, what the fuck's this? But it depends on what mindset you're in as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about my mindset, but I will also talk about other scenarios and other people's mindsets because, or shall I say my mindset at the time. Because when you get off that bus, the paddy wagon, they call it a bus as well, sweatbox bus, whatever, paddy wagon. When you get off that and you're going into reception, you're either in fear, thinking what the fuck is going to happen to us when I go in here. All these horror stories that I've heard about prison. Is it going to happen? Am I going to get buggered? Am I going to get bummed on my first night in jail? Because this is what everyone hears about prison. And if you're a bit naive, which a lot of people going into prison are, they believe on what they see on these dramas on TV about padmates getting bummed and raped, even though there is, or there has been cases where that does happen. It's not very often and you don't ever really hear about it. So if you're naive and you're going up the, I'm talking about the stairs in Durham, because you've got to go up some metal stairs and then you've got to go up the stairs into reception. You're going up and you're thinking, what the fuck's going to greet me at the top of here? If you're in a naive mindset, a timid mindset, and you're not someone who can stand up for yourself, then you're going to be thinking, shit. You get to the top, you see the fucking reception screws, and they do greet you with a bit of animosity to see how you're going to react. Obviously, they're not going to be standing there kind and being nice to you, nice gesture. They're fucking bastards. You get there and they're like, name, number. Obviously, if you come from another prison, then you know your number, but they're fucking asking you, they're talking to you like this, asking you questions, and they're seeing how you're going to respond back. If you respond back violently and aggressively, or give them fucking sharp answers, then they'll think, right, we've got a bit of a hothead here, we'll take a step back. If it's someone who is quite timid, like I've said, then they'll take the piss, because that's what they do. It's not just the prisoners that take the piss out of other prisoners, it's the screws that take the piss out of the prisoners. And this is obviously when they find out what type of inmate you are. Then you go into the holding centre, or the holding cell rather, which can hold up to about fucking a dozen lads. and they do have a few of them in Durham. Other prisons have a couple, and they are quite bigger. So it depends on which prison you're in. You've got to deal with the other prisoners in that holding cell. You can imagine 12 people that have just been sentenced or convicted and found guilty, all in that room, all dealing with their own thoughts, dealing with their own situations. It is a volatile situation and a volatile scenario. Because if you look at someone the wrong way, or if you're in a bad mood, someone looks at you the wrong way and they're staring at you, then it's on. What the fuck you looking at? But again, if it's a timid person and they look at them and they just put their head down and they're saying, obviously, at the time you could smoke, gives one of them gives a rollie, or have you got any vapes or anything like that, because people that have come from other prisons are in that holding cell as well. And you do get a pack in reception, a welcome pack it's called, where you get a few little bits of, you can get a pack of vapes now. You used to get baccy, and half ounce of baccy, and different things of the sort. So if you are in that holding centre or holding cell with anything on you, or if you've had something plugged or something cheeked and you've got something in you and the other inmates find out, they're going to bash you and tax you. So that's what you've got to deal with first of all. Then you go into reception wing, and that is where everybody is housed who comes into the system for the first week or 2 weeks. And that is where a lot of the inmates find out what type of person you are. And a lot of bullying goes on in these wings, because like I've just said as well, if you come into prison with a parcel, you can't stick up for yourself. You've took it in for yourself thinking, oh, I'm going to have this when I get in, or I'm going to make a little bit of money. The other inmates find out, they'll fucking batter you and take it off you if you cannot stand up for yourself. But again, you see a lot of fighting going on in these reception wings when you first go in, because instances like that. But then you've got other lads that look at prisoners that attack some people are doing whatever and saying, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And they get battered. Then you go into your cell, you've got to share a cell for them weeks or 2 weeks with another inmate. So then you haven't just got yourself to contend with and deal with, you've got another prisoner, which can be very challenging. If you get an arsehole of a fucking cellmate, then you're going to end up fighting. Then it starts going tits up, because that's when you start getting put down the block, you're getting moved to different wings, and sometimes it works in your favour, because they might say, right, you're high risk, you can't have a pad mate, which I used to prefer. I didn't like having pad mates, I used to like being by myself. But that's what I'm saying, you've got to deal with somebody else, then you've got to deal with yourself. Then I'm going ahead here because I'm talking about the fucking first week or 2 weeks. We'll stick with the first 24 hours, like I said, like the subscribers asked. So that is basically it. From when you get to reception, then you get onto reception wing. You have your first night with your new pad mate. Then the next day comes, which is still in the 24-hour bracket, and you've got to go out and do an induction. Induction consists of getting told all about what happens inside the prisons. It's a lot of shit really, but you've got to go and do these inductions. I'm not going to bore you with the fucking details about what they do and what they talk about, but it's an induction into the prison, telling you about the prison, telling you about what you're going to be expecting, telling you about the gym, telling you about different things, and just asking you what you want to do whilst you're in the prison. Will you take part in any education, any gym sessions and different things? And this is where they find out whether or not you're willing to take part in education classes, or whether you're willing to work, or whether you're willing or you want to go to the gym. So that is basically it. You get out on association, where you're associating with the whole of the fucking wing. There could be up to 100 inmates all associating. You go out, there's games of pool, you get an hour out of your pad, you can go and make a phone call. Now they've got phones in the pads, but used to be able to be out on the landing. Go and make a phone call, go and have a shower, and then you get a half-hour exercise as well. But that is what happens in your first 24 hours. You get tested to the max of other prisoners, like I've just said, with the screws. Prisoners test you to see how you're going to react. If you don't react back in a fucking an aggressive manner or assertive manner and tell them fuck off, you're not getting nothing off me, or well, that's it, basically, fuck off, you're not getting nothing. Because they'll constantly hound you, I want this, I want that, can you get us this, can you get us that, can you give us some of your vapes, can you give us this? And if you just keep giving them it, they're going to keep coming back, they're going to tell other people, he'll give you it, they'll come and get your tea bags, your sugar, whatever you've got, they'll just hound the fuck out of you. If you don't stand up and say, listen, you're not getting nothing from me, be assertive, or even better, be aggressive, say fuck off, you're not getting nothing. Yes, being aggressive can land you in trouble, but it also lets the other inmates know that you're not going to be fucked around with and you won't take any shit. That is how you've got to deal with yourself inside a prison. Because like I've said, if not, it goes from taking or wanting tea bags, sugar, vapes, and if prisoners are just giving them willy-nilly, it'll be them be, right, there's a fucking bank deals, get your family to send money to this account or you're going to get done in. And that is exactly what happens, people. You might think, wow, is that really what happens? Yes, that's what happens. But if you can't stand up for yourself either, the prisoners will come in the pad, slap you about, give you a couple of bats. Then these vulnerable prisoners, they're not VPs, they're just normal people, normal location lads, but they're vulnerable because they can't stand up for themselves. They might be decent lads as well, but these are the fucking prisoners who are bullies. Like a pack of hyenas will be on you like a fucking flies round shit trying to get what they can. So that is the lowdown of what happens in the first 24 hours. But I will be doing more videos like this, people, because I am getting requested to do these off new subscribers that are new to the channel. Even though I've got videos if you go back over the years, but I'll do better, updated and refreshing videos about what goes on inside of prison. Hopefully you're enjoying the content still, people. I'm going to leave that one there for now. But if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. Stay safe, people, and have a good day.